You might ask, where did that story come from? Well, there are many sources. Alan Gibson tells us that when Sir William de Lacy had been to visit his friend Walter de Trafford in Swithamley Hall, over in that direction, he was on his way back when he met an old man just outside the entrance of Lud's Church, and the old man told him the story. Maybe. Gibson also tells us that the name Lud could have come from a Viking raider called Lud, who was defeated in battle by the monks of Dulichos, which is the abbey near Leek. Gibson didn't believe that story, to be honest with you. Neither do I. Now, people ask where the name Lud's Church came from. Was it named after Walter de Luddock? Well, possibly. Though Doug Pickford and others tell us that it's named after the Celtic god Llwyd. If he was right, then the name is much older than the Lollards. What about other stories associated with Lud's Church? Well, just look at the place. It's got to attract stories, hasn't it? It's a magnet that is going to draw tales into itself. And yes, there are many. For example, there are tales of fairy folk here, as in other parts of the Southwest Peak. A local antiquarian called William Mills visited here, and he found a crevice in the rocks, and he crawled through it, and he found himself in this series of chambers and temples with ornate carvings, and he knew he had entered the fairy realm. So he went home, and he came back with lanterns and ropes, torches, so that he could explore further. But never again could he find that entrance. Weird floating lights have been seen above Lud's Church, as they've been seen in many other parts of the Peak District. In Moscar Lodge, over the Nine-Stone Circle on Stanton Moor, on the stepping stones in Dove Valley. In many such places, and particularly over the old lead and coal mines, where it was known as the Fiery Drake and was considered a portent of disaster. Most famously, they've been seen in Longdendale. They've been seen in many other parts of England and indeed other parts of the world, and have been a subject of serious scientific investigation. Anyone interested in those investigations should read Paul Devereux's books on the subject. Some people think this place was inhabited by the Luddites. It was a hideout for them. The Luddites were people who opposed the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century and went to break up the machinery. They were in serious trouble if they were caught, and some of them were hanged. But it is very unlikely that they really held out here. It's very far from anywhere industrial. It's simply the name Lud, coincidentally the same as Lud's Church, that has led to that belief. Some people have even supposed that the name Lud's Church comes from the Luddites. No, it's considerably older than the Luddites. Of course, Lud's Church was a hideout for Robin Hood and his merry men. Robin Hood was very much associated with the Peak District. There are many places around the whole Peak District area that are named after him. Don't believe this nonsense about Sherwood Forest and Nottinghamshire. Robin Hood was a Peak District man.